Okay, so listen, I said to you all, this hair going all which way today. It's all right. It ain't that big of a deal. So listen, I did a video not too long ago to let you all know that I recently completed the Daniel fast. Phenomenal experience. It was tough, don't get me wrong, but it was a really, really, really good experience. So I wanted to create a series about the Daniel fast just to kind of give you some information about what it is and my experience with it. So this is the first segment of that, and this video just goes over exactly what the Daniel fast is. All right, so stay tuned. Hey y'all. So let's get into the Daniel fast. Okay, so what is it exactly? What's the whole idea behind it? So the Daniel fast is a way of eating. Some would call it the Daniel diet, but it is a restrictive way of eating for a particular period of time if you are not practicing it as a way of life or your way of eating. So it comes from Daniel, the first chapter. And so here's the story. So I'm gonna give you my version. Now you could go back and read Daniel, the first chapter, read the whole book of Daniel. It's like really, really good. But go back and read the first chapter so you can get all the specifics and all that. But I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you the TIV, okay? I'm gonna give you my version. You ready? Okay, here we go. So Daniel and three of his friends, Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael, they were captured by Nebuchadnezzar's army, right? So I call him Nebi. Listen, I call him Nebi because Nebuchadnezzar is kind of long. So they're captured, right? And so they're taken to be almost like servants. But before they can be servants, they have to go through training. And this is whole big, huge thing that lasts like 3 years. 3 years of training for them to be able to serve in like the king's presence, to serve the king. So, and this training includes them being taught the language that the king speaks, being taught how to know, what the king eats and all these different things. And they're supposed to eat what he eats as well, during that time period. And so now here's the other thing that is really, really interesting. The interesting thing is that he picked the king, Nebi, Nebi picked like the best, like the cream of the crop of Israel. And so in Daniel and the three boys, Daniel and the boys, they are Israelites, and they are, they're like top notch. When I say handsome, them boys was fine. Yeah. That's what it says. Now it doesn't say them boys was fine, but it says that he picked the cream of the crop. It says that he picked the young men who were astute, they were learned, they were clever, they were intelligent. Like he didn't want the boys from around the way. He wanted the boys who could really young men who could really serve and represent the king well. All right. So here's the deal. So we know they're fine, all of that, but they're not just fine, they're smart. They're like super intelligent. Anywho, so they are supposed to, learn the king's ways, learn the culture, all this good stuff for 3 years. And a part of that was learning the food. Now, I researched this a bit once I started, getting more into the fast and reading Daniel. And I realized that he, according to biblical scholars, was supposed to be around like 17 during this time. I could not find anything that says how old the boys were, but I know that Daniel was supposed to be around 17. But in addition to being handsome, to being intelligent, they were very mature and very loyal to their God, loyal to an extreme extent. Like they wasn't fooling with nothing else that didn't have to do with God. They were serious about their relationship with God, and that was cool. So when I tell you they were serious about their relationship with God, I mean they were serious. And even to the point where they did not eat anything other than pulse. All right, so let's get back to, first chapter. So the first chapter says that they ate pulse. And pulse is basically food that comes from a seed or a bean. So that would be fruits, vegetables, certain types of nuts, certain types of grains, certain types of oats, right? Because all of those would come from a seed or a nut or a grain. So that's pulse in a nutshell. So let's get back to the story. So here's where the fast comes in. So the king is like, listen, he puts these people over him, and over Daniel and the boys, and I call the guy Ashy, and his name is not Ashy. Forgive me. Go look at it. I want you to read Daniel the first chapter. I want to say it's like Ashenaz or something like that. Anywho, can't remember. Ashy. So he puts Ashy over the boys, and they are supposed to eat the king's food, this rich food, this, in our terms, we would probably say, maybe grease filled, high cholesterol, just a whole lot of extra. Okay. But it does not say specifically there exactly what it is. It just says rich food. But Daniel is like, I ain't about to put that in my stomach, because that's going to mess me up. So listen, Ashy, come in for a minute. Let's talk. So he's like, listen, Ash, listen, give me and the boys, this is Daniel talking, he's like, give me and the boys some pulse. Just let us eat that. We'll be cool. We don't want to eat this other stuff. That's not even what we put in our system. We don't put that stuff in our system. We don't want to change. We don't want to change our diet and how we are used to eating. So Ashley was like, you are not about to have my head on the chopping block with the king, because you around here skin and bones, because you eating pulse and fruits and veggies and everybody else eating this good food. And so Dane was like, no. Listen, give me 10 days. Try me. Give me 10 days. Give me and the boys the pulse. Give us our fruits and our veggies. Give us the like legumes, the nuts. Give us what I'm asking now, and try us out for 10 days. Now let's pause for a second. There are people who do the Daniel fast for 21 days. And I have heard some people say that in the Bible it says 21 days. I ain't never seen it. Now, I do not call myself a Bible scholar. I love reading scripture. I love, understanding scripture. But I have never seen 21 days. And y'all can go and look that up and let me know if I'm wrong about that. But what it says in the first chapter is 10 days. Now, however long you do it, that's totally up to you. But in the first chapter of Daniel, what he says is try us for 10 days. Try us for 10 days on this particular diet, this particular way of eating, and see if we are not, more healthy than the other people who are eating this rich food. So let's get back to the story. So Daniel was like, yeah, just try us for these 10 days and see how we are at the end of the 10 days. And I promise you, we're going to be all right. So Ash was like, listen, it's your butt. If, this thing doesn't work out in your favor. And Daniel's like, okay, cool. I'm good. We're going to be all right. I promise you. So anywho, they do the fast or the restrictive diet. A fast is basically just abstaining from something for a period of time. And so this is what they're abstaining from. Daniel and the boys are abstaining from the rich food that the king is trying to get them to eat, right? So they can be more like him. And Daniel like, no, we're originals. We're not trying to be like you. We're gonna eat these fruits and vegetables and we're gonna be good. And that's what they did. And at the end of the 10 days, they were looking like they were looking scrumptious. The skin clear, nice and cut. Listen, they were looking better than the people sitting around eating all that rich food. You eat all that greasy stuff. Look, listen, I'm not saying anything against the greasy stuff, but here's the deal. So they stayed true to what they knew was good for them. And Ash was like, hey, all right, y'all look all right. Skin not falling off your bones, you good? So Ash was like, all right, you know what? You're right, Daniel. I'm going to continue to let you all eat the pulse, the fruits, the vegetables, the grains, for the remainder of the time that you're in training, because it's working. I'm not, it's cool. And it's crazy because it doesn't say that Nebi knew what was going on. It does not say in the scripture that Nebi knew what was going on. It doesn't say that Ash went to Nebi and was like, is this cool? He was just like, I'm gonna, use some executive opinion on this and just go. And so that's the TIV of Daniel, the first chapter. Okay. So now, most of that is factual, but of course, I added my own little spin to it. But definitely go back and read the first chapter of Daniel. So that is the That is the foundation of the Daniel fast. As I said, it says in scripture 10 days. Some people do it for 21 days. Some people do it for even longer. But I stuck with the 20. Oh gosh, not 20. Lord. I stuck with the 10 days. I stuck with the 10 days. 10 days. And as I said before, it was a phenomenal experience. It was kind of rough at first. I'm not going to lie to you. It was rough at first. But it was an experience I will never forget. Yeah.